The story of the Denver Broncos and New York Giants heading into Week 7 has evolved into a pivotal moment that goes far beyond the surface-level narratives of injuries and records. It is the collision of momentum against adversity, of timing against circumstance, and of opportunity against limitation. For Denver, this is not merely another game on the schedule. It is a statement week and opportunity to solidify their position as a legitimate contender in the AFC and to show that their early season trajectory was not a fluke. For New York, it is a fight to keep hope alive in a season that has already tested their depth, their coaching staff, and their belief in their own identity. The Broncos enter this matchup with a 4 and to record in a renewed sense of direction. Their season began with uncertainty at the quarterback position and defensive inconsistency, but over the past few weeks, they have carved out a formula that feels sustainable. The defense has regained its edge, suffocating opponents with physical front seven play and opportunistic turnovers, while the offense has started to click under rookie quarterback Jackson Dart, who has injected both energy and unpredictability since taking over from Russell Wilson. Dart is not a polished veteran, but he plays with a confidence and mobility that has allowed the Broncos to stretch defenses vertically and horizontally, opening up a playbook that had grown stale in previous years. The Giants stand at 2-4, and their path to this moment has been anything but smooth. The early weeks of the season were marked by offensive stagnation and defensive lapses, but since Dart took over, they have gone 2-1, including an emotional win over the Philadelphia Eagles that briefly reignited belief in their locker room. That victory was not just about points on the board, it was about identity. It was about showing that they still had the fight to compete in a season that threatened to spiral. However, their growing list of injuries is now the central storyline. It looms like a storm cloud over everything they are trying to build. Each passing day brings a new setback, each practice a reminder of how fragile NFL seasons can be. When key contributors fall, for Denver this week carries special significance beyond the standings. It coincides with Alumni Week, an annual event that connects the current roster with the franchise's storied past. The late Demaryius Thomas will be inducted into the Ring of Fame, a moment that will bring together former teammates, coaches, and fans to honor a player who defined an era of Broncos football. His impact on the franchise cannot be overstated. He was a cornerstone of the Super Bowl 50 championship team and a symbol of excellence during one of the most dominant defensive stretches in modern football. The emotional weight of this ceremony will not be lost on the players taking the field. Many of them grew up watching Thomas redefine the wide receiver position in Denver. His legacy is a source of inspiration and a reminder of the standards that come with wearing the orange and blue. When examining the injury reports, the contrast between these two teams is striking. The Broncos are dealing with some absences, but their overall outlook is optimistic. Jonah Ellis will miss his second straight game with a shoulder issue, but the headline is the potential debut of linebacker Dre Greenlaw, who has been practicing fully after missing the start of the season. His return would give Denver a dynamic presence in the middle of the defense and justify the 3-year $11.5 million investment that they made in him during the offseason. To make room for Greenlaw on an active roster, the team released quarterback Sam Ehlinger, a move that underscores their confidence in his recovery and their desire to reinforce the defense. Even if Greenlaw's snaps are limited, his presence alongside Alex Singleton and Justin Sternad adds versatility and aggression to a unit that is starting to peak. The Giants, by contrast, are facing an uphill climb. Their injury list is not only long, but also concentrated in areas that affect both their offensive rhythm and defensive stability. Injuries along the offensive line have disrupted protection schemes, forcing the coaching staff to rely on backups who are now tasked with containing a Denver pass rush that has been steadily improving. On defense, the loss of key contributors has weakened their ability to control the line of scrimmage and generate pressure, something that will be tested heavily against the Denver offense. Growing more confident by the week, the NFL is a league of attrition, and few teams survive prolonged stretches of key injuries without paying a price in the standings. What makes this matchup compelling is not simply the contrast in health, but the convergence of timing, emotion, and strategic clarity. The Broncos are beginning to understand who they are. Their identity is taking shape through complementary football, where the defense sets the tone and the offense capitalizes on field position and tempo. They are not perfect, but they are disciplined and opportunistic. The Giants, on the other hand, are trying to hold everything together. Their recent surge has been driven by effort and belief, but effort alone rarely overcomes structural weaknesses in the NFL, especially on the road. And at altitude, where the Broncos historically thrive strategically, Denver will look to apply relentless pressure on the Giants' offense, forcing the backup linemen to sustain protection for longer stretches than they are accustomed to. Expect defensive coordinator Vance Joseph to vary his looks, combining disguise blitzes with disciplined coverage schemes to confuse a unit already stretched thin. Offensively, the Broncos will aim to exploit mismatches on the perimeter, taking advantage of their improving receiver group and Jackson Dart's growing comfort in reading defenses. If the Giants are forced into early deficits, their ability to mount sustained drives could be compromised given their personnel limitations. This is not just another regular season game. It is a moment that could shape the trajectory of both teams for the remainder of the season. For a win would affirm their growing identity and position them as a serious AFC contender. For New York, a victory would be a rallying cry, proof that resilience can overcome adversity, even against a healthier and more balanced opponent. But history favors the team that enters this kind of matchup healthier, more stable, and emotionally charged. The Broncos check every one of those boxes for fans. This is the kind of game that demands attention. It is a clash of narratives, a test of structure against will, a reminder of how quickly fortunes can change in the NFL. It is also an invitation to look deeper than the scoreboard, to analyze the factors that truly decide games in this league: preparation, health, depth, emotion, and execution. If you understand the game at that level, then you understand why this matchup matters. Join the discussion, share your perspective, and be part of a community that values serious football conversation week after week.